After I failed the conquest mission, the system gave me 3 days. 3 days to say goodbye. 3 days to be the perfect husband in Victoria's eyes, someone who no longer lost his temper when she stayed out all night, no longer argued when she handed over most of her salary to her crush. Day 1, she sneered, cold and cutting. If you'd acted like this earlier, maybe I wouldn't have gotten so sick of you. Day 2, suspicion creased her brow. Erick, why aren't you reacting at all? Are you secretly plotting something? By day 3, panic had replaced her composure. Babe, why aren't you getting jealous anymore? I only smiled faintly. Isn't this what you've always wanted? But the system's cold voice broke the moment. Host, you only have 3 days left in this world. If there's anything you still want to do it now. Don't leave behind regrets. I smiled bitterly and shook my head. 5 years together, 3 married. I'd believed that if I tried hard enough, Victoria would eventually fall in love with me. But the system's diagnostics didn't lie, her affection level was still below average. My mission had failed. I was scheduled to return to my original world. Maybe it was for the best. I was tired. Still, I wanted a proper goodbye. I kept calling, refusing to give up. Eventually, she answered, annoyed. Erick, do you not understand plain language? I told you, unless you apologize to Matthew, don't contact me. My chest tightened. Pain sliced through me, but I forced a calm reply. All right. Her silence was telling. I pressed on. I made your favorite jajang noodles today. Want to come home and eat? A snort, dismissive and sharp. If you'd been like this earlier, maybe you wouldn't have disgusted me so much. Besides, he's still unwell. I need to stay with him. And with that, she hung up. 3 days ago, Victoria's childhood friend Matthew had posted a birthday message online. With you by my side, even the end of the world doesn't seem so scary, complete with a photo of them smiling, heads close together. They looked inseparable, a picture-perfect couple. I had commented, innocently, you two really are a good match. Within minutes, Matthew deleted it. Not long after, Victoria called, fury sharp in her voice. Erick, today's Matthew's birthday, do you have to ruin everything? Matthew's soft, aggrieved voice murmured in the background. Victoria, maybe Erick misunderstood us. Should I apologize? I don't want trouble between you two. Victoria snapped, ruthless. He just thinks he's more important than he is. What could possibly be more important than your birthday? I answered calmly, almost too calmly. More important than our wedding anniversary? Her voice froze. She hadn't remembered. Matthew's anxious whisper echoed behind her. Victoria, I didn't know today was your anniversary. You should go home and celebrate with him. She scoffed. It's just an anniversary. What's the big deal? Everyone's here for your birthday. And with that, she hung up. I stared at the table, dishes cooling, the jajang noodles growing cold, and with them, my heart. A text pinged from an unknown number. You really overestimate yourself. Do you actually think you can compete with the years of history Victoria and I have? If I wanted to, I'd just curl my finger and she'd run into my arms without hesitation. I laughed, bitter and hollow. If someone had told me back then that Victoria would abandon me for another man, I would have scoffed. And yet here it was, sharp, undeniable, cruel. That night, as expected, she didn't come home. The next morning, I found her in the living room, casually eating breakfast, phone in hand, smiling at someone's text. Her smile vanished the instant she saw me. Impatience creased her tone. You're coming with me to apologize to Matthew tonight. Do you even realize how upset he was because of your comment yesterday? He was wiping away tears when no one was looking. I couldn't resist the sarcasm. I'm supposed to apologize? For what? My wife celebrating another man on our wedding anniversary? Her eyes blazed. She shot to her feet, shouting, Erick, Matthew and I grew up together. If something were ever going to happen, do you really think you'd have had a chance? Now that his family's bankrupt, what's wrong with me caring as a friend? Stop looking at everything through that filthy, twisted mind of yours. I stared down at the table, the memory stinging. So, that time at karaoke, when you two kissed in front of everyone, That was just friendly. For a moment, she was speechless. Then fury returned. I already explained. That was a punishment from a party game we lost. Don't blow things out of proportion. I took a deep breath, voice low. If you really can't trust me, maybe we should take a few days apart. You need to stay home and seriously reflect on yourself. She turned away, retreating, and my chest filled with disappointment. When had we stopped talking like adults? When had the gentle, patient girl I once knew vanished entirely, replaced by someone I could no longer reach? I lowered my head, the ache in my chest too heavy to ignore. She hadn't come back after that day, leaving an emptiness I couldn't shake. But thanks to Matthew's endless posts, it wasn't hard to keep track of her. There she was in the photos, smiling, laughing, living. I love the beef noodles here, one post read. Watching you pick out the cilantro for me made me feel like we were back in the old days. Another, LOL, even the scaredy-cat went on the giant swing with me, but seeing your terrified face when you got off, I kinda felt sorry for you. A kid even asked when we're getting married. Nearly died laughing. It wasn't just social media, it was Matthew staking his claim, painting a life I wasn't part of anymore. And there she was, radiant, playful, alive in ways she hadn't been with me for years. I felt a dizzying mix of nostalgia and grief, remembering the way she used to smile at me, before everything fell apart. By the time I arrived at the dinner Victoria had reserved, the room was buzzing. The moment I stepped through the door, mocking stares and curious whispers hit me from all sides. Everyone from our social circle was there, already primed to witness the drama. Well, look who it is, young Master Erick. What brings you to our humble gathering? Sneered one of her friends. Another chimed in, HMPH. No matter how high and mighty, he still has to obey our Victoria. Here to apologize to Matthew, perhaps? Victoria sat on the couch, her attention fixed somewhere else, while Matthew leaned close enough that their arms nearly touched. I didn't hesitate. I poured myself a glass of baijiu and raised it, the gesture heavy with meaning. Since everyone's here, let me make this clear, Matthew. I offer you a sincere apology. Cheers. Matthew flinched, waving his hands. Erick, what are you saying? Just stop making things difficult for Victoria. No need to be formal, just a few words are enough. Victoria frowned, confused. What do you mean? He should apologize. I've always protected you, and I won't let anyone bully you. Matthew, looking embarrassed, added, Erick, just take a sip. Show your sincerity. Honestly, it's a misunderstanding. Nothing more. I smiled but didn't speak. I raised my glass higher. Matthew, I'm sorry for what happened before. I let my emotions cloud my judgment and hurt you. Let this drink stand as my apology, and I hope we can still be friends. And with that, I downed the glass in one go. Victoria hesitated. Only she knew I was allergic to alcohol. Her lips moved, as if she wanted to say something, but she stayed silent. From the corner of the room, someone jeered, wow, that's some sincerity, but one glass? Shouldn't you finish the whole bottle? The room erupted in laughter. Back when Victoria cared for me, her friends wouldn't dare humiliate me like this. But now, with Matthew clearly favored, there was nothing holding them back. Victoria's frown deepened, ready to speak, when Matthew cut in, his voice low and slightly bitter. Sigh, it's fine. As long as Erick doesn't show up at my company to slap me in the face, I'm okay. I have to earn my own living now. If you have a problem, find me privately, don't make a scene. Victoria's voice rose, furious. You went to his company and slapped him? Just, shortly after I started working there, I replied calmly, locking eyes with her. Matthew had just returned from abroad. His family had gone bankrupt. He kept coming up with excuses to keep you around. Sick, needing care, emotional support. At first I tolerated it. But the arguments kept coming. Victoria, I'm your husband. When you run off to stay with another man, do you think I can just be okay with that? He's a grown man, 2 hands, 2 feet. Can't he take care of himself? I could see the conflict in her eyes sometimes, guilt flickering for a moment. But most of the time, she still ran back to Matthew without hesitation. Until one day, He sent me a photo, him and Victoria, hugging intimately in his office. That was it. I snapped. I stormed over. He just looked at me, smug, triumphant. Erick, you were nothing more than a stand-in while I was gone. Now that I'm back, step aside if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, don't say I didn't warn you. And if you want, I have plenty more photos. Some cross the line. Want to see? I couldn't take it anymore. My hand shot out, slapping him across the face. He touched his cheek and then, to my shock, laughed. Erick, do you think you can keep her? Or are you just acting out because you know you're about to lose her? Matthew's head drooped, whining pitifully. But I met his gaze without fear. Meanwhile, Victoria was boiling with rage, her eyes sharp and unforgiving. Erick, I always thought you were petty, but I never imagined you'd be this malicious. You disgust me. Then her gaze landed on the bottle of liquor on the table. It's just a bottle of alcohol. Why are you making such a fuss? She knew. She knew I was allergic. My chest tightened, disbelief cutting through me. Victoria, do you really not trust me at all? She let out a cold, humorless snort. Do you even deserve my trust? Or were you just planning to put on a little show here, thinking I'd pretend nothing ever happened? Each word stabbed into me like iron, reopening wounds that hadn't yet healed. Before tonight, I had clung to a fragile thread of hope. Maybe she'd been deceived. Maybe she was angry, waiting for me to say the right thing to make it better. But the bottle told the truth. It wasn't about deception or anger. It was simple. Brutal. I didn't matter that much to her. My lips trembled as tears pricked my eyes. Victoria. I finally understand. Victoria, if I drink this bottle, does that mean everything between Matthew and me is settled? My voice barely rose above a whisper. She stared at me, cold and unreadable. It's not me you owe. If you want forgiveness, that's for Matthew to decide. I swallowed hard, forcing a laugh I didn't feel. Fine. I'll drink it. Just as my hand closed around the bottle, one of her friends finally spoke, desperation in their voice. Stop him. He's allergic, drinking that will kill him. Victoria's voice floated over, light, indifferent. I'm not forcing him. He's choosing this himself. I gently pushed the hand away and whispered a quiet thank you. Then I drank. Tears slid down my face as the alcohol burned its way down my throat. Every sip felt like penance for my misjudgments. My body grew heavy, my thoughts clouded, and the edges of reality started to blur. Through the haze, I thought I saw Victoria running toward me, panic etched across her face. Victoria, loving you has been too painful. I give up. And then everything shifted, like waking from a long, haunting dream. I was back at the very beginning, the first time I met Victoria. The system had shown me the trajectory of her life, a roadmap of hardships. Her mother, the legitimate wife of the Lin family, had passed away young. Her father, a notorious womanizer, had left her in the cold care of a family that never truly valued her. Her early life was filled with indifference, neglect, and cruelty. Matthew had appeared once, rushing out from the crowd to shield her from bullies, becoming a small light in her dark world. But even that light had been hollow, he only acted to impress her. When I entered her life, Victoria was already withdrawn, calculated, sometimes ruthless. The Lin patriarch had little respect for her. I, the young master of the Law family and a longtime ally of theirs, first saw her at a grand banquet. She was flawless, poised, elegant, every movement precise, her nods and smiles measured. Even amid the chaos of flattery and threats from my own family's rivals, she saw me struggling with the alcohol, stepping forward to protect me with a polite smile and a cutting remark that sent everyone scattering. Don't pay attention to them. They're only good at making others feel small. In that moment, I thought I was lucky. Maybe she was a good person. From that day forward, I poured every ounce of effort into staying close, helping her with business, clearing obstacles, protecting her from her half-brother's schemes. She stayed distant, cold, yet I believed my persistence could earn her heart. I was naive. I had forgotten that some things, like love, can't be forced. Then came the car accident, an attempt on her life. In the final moment, I swerved, shielding her with my body, blacking out on impact. On the way to the hospital, I saw her like I'd never seen her before, flustered, helpless, tears streaking down her face. I forced a weak smile. "Thank goodness, you're okay." She broke down, choking on her words, and for the first time, vulnerability and fear replaced the cold, unreachable woman I had known. "Erick, I won't let you die. I haven't even married you yet. If you die like this, I swear I'll forget you and marry someone else right away." I chuckled softly at her childish threat, the sound fading as darkness claimed me again, unconscious from blood loss. By some miracle, none of my injuries were fatal. I survived. During my recovery, Victoria stayed by my side, meticulous and unwavering in her care. It was then that her affection score soared, brushing against the system's threshold. For a fleeting moment, I thought I was close to completing the mission. But truthfully, even if I had already made up my mind. For Victoria, I would have stayed. Those early days after our marriage were the happiest of my life. Matthew was off living recklessly abroad, and Victoria was here, right here with me. Together, we built a home warm with love and quiet intimacy. Later, in a haze, someone reached for me. Instinctively, I pushed them away. "Don't touch me. Only one person is allowed to touch me." Her voice was tentative, a quiet question. "Who is it?" "Of course, it's my wife, Victoria. Only she can touch me. Only she has my heart." And then reality hit me like a punch to the chest. The memory of the way she acted around Matthew sank into my stomach like lead. She doesn't love me. She loves someone else. Every time she's forced to choose, it's never me. The presence beside me fell silent, and after a long pause, a husky voice whispered, "No. I don't love anyone else." I caught only fragments after that, my mind too clouded, too dazed. It was too loud, too close, and I pulled the blanket over my head, shutting out the world. Finally, peace returned, and I drifted back to sleep. Morning light filtered in, and the system's voice broke through. "Host, her affection level increased yesterday. Want to try again? I can submit a request to the main system." I shook my head, rubbing my temples. "No. I was too tired. I just wanted to go home." The system hesitated, then added curiously, "Wait, she's on the phone with Matthew outside. Want to listen in?" Before I could respond, the call piped directly into my ears. Victoria's voice was calm but tinged with warmth. "I'm sorry. If it weren't for you helping me, Erick wouldn't have gotten jealous and come after me. You and he are husband and wife, I'm just an outsider." Matthew's voice wavered. "Don't worry. I won't bother you again. I've kept track of all the money you've given me. Once I earn enough, I'll pay you back." Victoria scolded lightly, a soft laugh in her tone. "What nonsense. Of course I should help you. We've known each other for years. Erick's just being petty. I'll talk to him. Things will go back to normal." Matthew hesitated, and Victoria pressed gently. "What is it? Just say it. There's nothing we can't talk about." He spilled everything in one breath. "After you left last night, people were saying Erick used to be proud. Why the sudden change? Maybe he has ulterior motives. I wasn't going to tell you, but I felt uneasy. I don't want you to get hurt. Maybe he genuinely realized he was wrong. Don't overthink it, I just wanted you to know." Victoria's voice went cold. "Got it." The system huffed in frustration. "Ooh, what a pretentious flirt. And Victoria, does she not use her brain?" Affection score dropping again. I gave it a bitter smile. "It's fine. Only 2 days left anyway. She hasn't mattered for a long time." When I opened the bedroom door, Victoria stood there, arms crossed, scrutinizing me. After a pause, she spoke, calm but deliberate. "Matthew's a little short on cash, and his parents aren't well. I transferred my entire salary to him. In the past, I would have felt irritated. Money wasn't the point. But a salary between spouses was symbolic trust, shared responsibility, intimacy. Now, it barely mattered. I simply nodded. Her brow furrowed. "Erick, why aren't you reacting? Are you secretly planning something behind my back?" I smiled faintly. What could I possibly be planning? I just want you to come with me to Grandpa's birthday tomorrow. Her suspicion melted into casual amusement. Phut, that's nothing. He's been nagging about you for ages. If I didn't know better, I'd think you're his grandson. We went shopping together. Just the two of us, alone, walking through stores, something we hadn't done since Matthew returned from abroad. I bought everything I could think of: food, clothes, daily necessities, anything that would make life easier for Grandpa. Victoria teased me the whole way. No wonder Grandpa loves you so much. You're practically moving the entire mall into the house. I smiled faintly, silent. Grandpa Lin had always been kind to me, and now, about to leave, the hardest part would be letting him go. At least I could do this one last thing for him. As we headed to the parking garage, I suddenly remembered we hadn't bought knee warmers. My heart sank. Victoria noticed my panic. "What's wrong?" she asked. Frustration crept into my voice. I kept saying I'd get knee warmers for Grandpa. His legs are sensitive to the cold, and I actually forgot something this important. Victoria laughed, a mix of exasperation and amusement dancing in her voice. "That's what this is about. You've been exhausted lately, probably just slipped your mind. Besides, it's the wrong season. You can't even find knee warmers now, and he doesn't need them anyway. When winter comes, we'll go together." But I still wanted to look. Her tone softened, tinged with unease. "Honey, what's going on with you?" Afraid she'd noticed the turmoil inside me, I hesitated. Thankfully, the system stepped in, promising it could exchange points for the warmest, best knee pads. That night was the calmest I'd had since arriving in this world. I stayed up working in the study and finally slept peacefully. The next morning, Victoria and I carried the bags to the car together. Once everything was loaded, she offered, "Let me drive. You don't look like you've been sleeping well." I didn't argue, sliding into the passenger seat. The ride was quiet. Out of boredom, I fiddled with the glove compartment and froze. It was stuffed with snacks and candy. My mind caught up slowly. Victoria, obsessed with cleanliness, had always hated anyone eating in her car. I remembered being kicked out once, breakfast in hand, left on the side of the road. She offered a quick excuse: "That must have been Matthew last time. He has hypoglycemia. If he doesn't eat, he gets really sick." Her rules, I realized, applied only to people who didn't matter. For the right person, her boundaries shifted. I said calmly, "Yeah, I know." But she looked unsettled, voice uncertain. "Honey, why aren't you jealous?" I watched the scenery blur past the window. His family had gone bankrupt. Life must have been hard. She was right to help him. I shouldn't have been suspicious. "I won't interfere," she added quickly, almost defensively. "No, it's not that. You're my husband, you've always been the most important. I'm just helping him through a rough patch." But I remembered helping him still meant hurting me again and again. There was a time when Victoria would have stood firmly by my side. That version of her, the one who chose me, was gone. The woman in front of me now couldn't even choose between me and someone else. If it's a choice between two people, then don't choose me. Her phone rang, interrupting the moment. I smiled faintly. "You're driving, let me answer it." Immediately, Matthew's anxious voice filled the car. "Victoria, where are you?" I just hit someone's car by accident. "I'm really scared. Can you come?" Victoria's voice turned sharp, tense. "What happened?" Matthew panicked, helpless. I wasn't paying attention, ran a red light. "The other driver is demanding compensation." "Am I going to get arrested?" I let out a quiet snort, and Matthew's voice faltered again, recognizing me. "Oh, you're with Erick. Sorry. Don't worry about me, I'll handle it. My family's already ruined anyway. If they want to sue, I'll accept it. Just focus on your own life. Don't fight with Erick because of me." His words were so earnest, so pitiful, I almost wavered. Victoria quickly regained control. "Don't be afraid. I'll call Jiang Liang, he'll come help. Erick and I have something urgent right now. Send me your location." She handled it quickly, efficiently, but I realized something. It wasn't that she had no better way to solve problems, or that she had to personally intervene every time. She enjoyed the ambiguity, the emotional tangle, the subtle power it gave her. The one she couldn't have in her youth, now, suddenly within reach, vulnerable in front of her. And I couldn't help but laugh at myself. Not just at her, but at all of us. Victoria made the call to Jiang Liang, explaining the situation. He cut her off, clearly annoyed. He's a grown man with 2 hands and 2 legs. Why are you cleaning up his mess? And Victoria, come on, you have a husband, a family. Keep your distance. His family went bankrupt because his dad embezzled money and lived large. Erick owes them nothing. Don't set yourself up for regret. I felt a strange ache in my chest. He was right. I owed them nothing. Why was I the one bleeding from all this drama? Why did I have to be the casualty of their endless ambiguity? After she hung up, Victoria's eyes flicked nervously toward me, her voice low and uncertain. Don't listen to him. I finished for her, gently, without bitterness. You were just thinking about all the years you've known him. You couldn't stand to see him suffer, so you wanted to lend a hand. I understand. Hearing me say it so calmly left her speechless. She stared at me as though she didn't know who I was anymore. Just as we were about to arrive, Matthew called again. His voice cracked, desperate now. Victoria. I'm still in the car. They're surrounding me. I'm really scared. Can you really leave me here alone? Didn't you promise, when we were kids, you'd always be there for me? Are you breaking your word now? Victoria's face twisted with conflict. I spoke up softly, at exactly the right moment. Looks like it's serious. Maybe you should go check on him. If something happens, that'd be bad. What about you? She asked quickly. I'll be fine, I told her. We're almost there anyway. I'll have the butler help me with the bags. Still, she insisted on seeing me to the door. After I'd unloaded everything from the car, she paused, her eyes serious. Honey, go in first. I'll just swing by to check on him real quick. I'll be back soon to join you and Grandpa. I nodded indifferently and watched her drive off, her car disappearing into the distance. Victoria. I'll never see you again. The butler carried the bags inside. My phone buzzed with a message. Erick, do you really think using an old man can win her back? After everything Victoria and I have shared, what do you have to compete with? I couldn't help but chuckle. I knew if I'd shown even the slightest weakness just now, she would have stayed. But in these final hours, I didn't want to hold her anymore. I just wanted to spend time with the only person in this world who had ever genuinely cared about me. And a thought flickered through me, if she knew this was the last time she'd ever see me, would she regret walking away? Would she still treat her childhood crush the same way? I spotted the old man in the distance and straightened, walking toward him with purpose. He'd been my one source of warmth since arriving in this world. Maybe it was fate. Maybe we really were like grandfather and grandson. I began introducing the things I'd bought, rambling a little, knowing it would be the last time. Grandpa glanced at the butler and chuckled, teasing me gently. Look at my grandson-in-law today, he's more long-winded than you. What is he trying to do, steal your job? His light-hearted teasing, so familiar, filled me with a warmth I hadn't felt in ages. Time passed slowly. Victoria still hadn't come. Grandpa's expression darkened, his eyes sharp. Where the hell is she? She's not even pretending in front of me anymore. Tell me the truth, is this how she treats you? Leaves you alone? I scrambled to cover for her. She had an important meeting pop up last minute. She's not usually like this. Don't worry, Grandpa, she's good to me. I knew the lies wouldn't hold. But after tonight, the kindness I'd shown today would become a blade turned against them. Grandpa had never approved of Victoria as heir. I'd been the one smoothing things over, keeping the fragile alliance between the Lin and Law families alive. But after tonight, she wouldn't be able to hold that position for long. When it was time for me to leave, Victoria still hadn't returned. Grandpa offered the driver, but I declined politely. She promised she'd come pick me up, I said. She should be here soon. I walked slowly out of the gated neighborhood. In my ear, the system whispered its cold reassurance. Host, everything's in place. Don't worry, Victoria's hitting red lights the entire way. There's no chance she'll make it in time. The little punks Matthew arranged are already waiting outside. I nodded silently. When the knife pierced my flesh, it was real, searing pain that tore through me. Even the thug holding the blade looked startled. My consciousness ripped away from my body, fading like smoke. The system seized my phone, calling me again and again. But the only sound on the other end was the cold mechanical voice. The number you have dialed is currently on another call. The system told me Matthew was scared, that he'd begged Victoria to stay on the line with him the entire time. From now on, every time she remembered this moment, she'd know she could have called for help. I could have survived. But because she stayed on the phone with him, she cut off my final chance to live. The system said my 3 days weren't over yet, so I lingered in this world in spirit form. An hour later, Victoria finally arrived with people. The moment she saw me lying there, her whole body trembled. I was sprawled in a pool of blood, lifeless. Her fingers shook as they reached for my face. Then she screamed raw, ragged, like a madwoman ordering them to get the car, to take me to the hospital. Several people rushed forward to lift me into the vehicle. But the blood, it was everywhere. Too much. Even the people rushing me to the hospital couldn't bear to look. They ran every red light, horns blaring, adrenaline pushing them forward, but by the time I was wheeled into the emergency room, it was already too late. Soon the doctor emerged, face tight with solemn regret. "Ms. Lin. I'm very sorry. Your husband has passed away." Victoria's world shattered. She screamed, a raw, piercing sound that seemed to shake the very walls. "No. That's not possible. He was just injured, he can't be dead. I order you to save him. If you don't, I'll tear this whole hospital down." But even as her rage tore through the room, an even deeper sorrow arrived, Grandpa. His face was lined with pain, his voice trembling but forced to stay steady. "Are you going to deny him even a peaceful farewell? Weren't you the one who said you'd come pick him up? He waited for you, for so long. Where the hell were you?" Then the grief broke free, unstoppable. "Child, how could you let an old man bury his grandson?" I held back my own tears. "Grandpa, I'm sorry. In the next life, let me be your real grandson, and I'll make it up to you." Victoria collapsed entirely, broken, tears streaming down her face like a river of regret. "Hubby, I'm sorry. I thought we had our whole lives ahead of us. I really regret it now. Please, come back. I shouldn't have thrown you aside for someone else. I'll change, I swear I will. Just come back." But the only response was silence. Soul-crushing, final silence. And then, just like that, my vision went black. When I woke, it was back in the real world. My best friend, Jie, was shouting, calling for the doctor, heart-hammering. In this life, I had died trying to save 2 children from drowning. But the system had caught me at the last moment, offering a choice. 1, wake up in a few days after a coma, or 2, enter a novel world, complete a mission, and earn points for rewards. I chose the second. And I failed. The rewards, the potential to help countless children, evaporated. But I didn't give up. Once I recovered, I returned to work, quietly supporting children who had dropped out of school because of poverty, helping where I could, little by little. Half a year later, during an idle conversation, the system reminded me of that other world. "Host, did you know? Victoria and Matthew, they're both dead." I froze, a little dazed. Their names sounded like echoes from a past life. The system kept going, gossiping, filling in details I didn't ask for. Matthew, it said, had been tracked down by Grandpa himself. The Lin family's underground ties meant he was captured, tortured for half a month, and eventually killed. Victoria, after I left, stripped of her status, cast from the house, drowning herself in alcohol. One day, she stepped into the lake and never came back. Strangely, I felt nothing. Not shock. Not grief. Those people, those events, they no longer mattered to me. Only one thing lingered, the rewards I had hoped to use to help more children. The system, sensing my thoughts, spoke. "Even though you didn't finish the mission, Victoria's affection level hit max after you left. That technically fulfills the criteria, so we made a special exception. And since we know what you care about, we've converted all your points directly into bank credit. I opened my phone, stared at the numbers, and for a moment, couldn't breathe. Zeros stretched endlessly across the screen. Then, finally, I let it out, a scream of pure joy, unrestrained, filled with relief and excitement. With this, I could do it. I could finally do more meaningful things. The world was vast, bursting with color, and now, finally, I had the time and the means to experience it all.